Howdy, folks, and welcome to News Podcast 325. Hey, I could take this whole podcast thanking each and every one of you because there was a boatload of you, and keeping with the season, a sleigh full of folks that you guys reached out and wished Sharon and myself and the family just the very best this holiday season, and I tell you, I was really quite moved by the overwhelming response from you folks, unsolicited, just for the seasons. You guys are the best. It's why we do the Moose podcast. But boy, I I I I thank you all for taking the time to do that. It means a lot, really does. So thank you so much. Um, Also need to thank my good friends at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com, who not only got some items to me that I needed to get out as presents, but I know helped a whole lot of you with some great stuff. Now, I know a bunch of you got a little extra in your stocking that you're wondering what to do with. Or perhaps it's the end of the year, you need a couple more write offs. Well, guess what? Bedford's just before Christmas got a whole bunch of more good stuff in from Nikon and other folks that, hey, Bedfords.com, call one of their stores, talk to the experts, get what you need when you need it. Best price, best inventory, the Moose discount, MOOSE, 5% off. Yep, they're there for all of us, me and as well as you guys. So Bedfords.com, thanks for supporting Moose Podcast all for 2022. I appreciate you guys ever so much. I'm going to get into this week's podcast with kind of an umbrella. I get questions from you folks a lot, and I'm grateful for them. And normally, when I answer questions, I tag the person's first name who asked it. Well, I had it was almost 24 emails from folks that I think in part because of the holidays, also just the way society is right now, who were, for lack of better terms and for generalizing, really down about either their photography, themselves, or both. And my heart goes out to each and every one of you. It's I've been there many times, and I just want you to know that it's not what it seems. It's not what it seems. Um, for right now, for let's just start off with some of the basics. There is so much out there in the internet right now, social media, that I don't think any photographer is really prepared for. I was incredibly fortunate, even though I did pay for the opportunity of the good fortune. Um, when I went to Brooks Institute of Photography, we had an incredible library. And the book was just, the books were just photographic books. A set of those books was basically the art director's guides to sum them up. There was many different varieties of them. And what would transpire is before the internet, before what you have today, the way photographers, especially commercial illustration photographers, would get the word out is they would buy a page, 2 pages, or 4 pages, 8 pages in this annual showcase. One was called the Art Director Showcase, and they would put on those pages their best photographs or the ones that they thought they should put out there for the art directors and others to see what they could do in the hopes that they would get their attention and, of course, get clients, get hired to do work. And at Brooks, it was basically mandatory, almost every class, that you spent time in the library looking at these kind of reference materials. You look at these photographs, and you would look at them for many different reasons, be it for direct assignments from the instructors, for inspiration, for the idea file, to break a creative block, whatever. And you would look at those photographs, and I would look at a lot of them. And I remember when I was a first year student, and I was looking at some photographs, and they're your basic library, big long tables, 6, 8 chairs at each table. You would kind of have study groups with other students, what have you. Anyway, I was there with a couple other first year students, and I was looking at a couple of photographs. I don't remember the photographer or the photographs. I just remember making the comment out loud, something like, "Man, I'm never going to be able to do something like that." And I had an older student who walked by, and he goes, "Hey, Peterson, yeah, that photograph, not what it seems." And I'm like, "What?" And off he went. Well, over time, I realized that the photograph, we, with our imaginations and our insecurities, it's a combination of both, look at that stuff and we impose on that photograph a whole lot of, you could say, qualities or attributes, which really, photograph doesn't deserve. They're not there. We are imagining, for example, things are, have transpired that our imagination makes very grand, just, Herculean kind of things when in reality, that's not the case. And in that process, we as humans tend to put ourselves down as not being worthy of not being able to do what we're seeing because of our imagination, because of, how it just sets us off. And for those people who email me, especially, your photography, I have no doubt, is well beyond the means in which you were, lamenting that you could not do those things. It's just that you have convinced yourself you can't because your imagination, because it's not what it seems. Let me give you an example, a working example. I posted a couple days ago photographs of ringneck ducks that I had photographed at a really marvelous place outside of Phoenix. It's called uh, the Riparian Preserve at the water park in Gilbert, Arizona. It's a marvelous place for the winter time. It's basically wastewater settling ponds that have all this great habitat around it, and the birds, because it's water in the middle of the desert, just flock to it. I've talked about it a couple times now since I've been there. It was a marvelous place. I loved it. Well, the ring-necked duck. If you've ever worked with waterfowl, ring-necked ducks are really kind of shy. They don't really like photographers. They don't like people. They don't like anything. They're really shy. Sharon and I walked there, and I've talked about this already. We walked onto this floating boardwalk, and because so many people before us have been feeding them, they come right over to us, point blank, which blew me away. Now, if you didn't know that backstory, you just saw those photographs that I posted on the website or saw it in the Twitter feed, your imagination might go, "Wow, what did Moose do to get those photographs, to get frame filling shots that are just amazing shots of great water and great color in the head and the shape and the attitude." And your imagination goes wild looking at that photograph until you realize that basically the ducks mobbed us and beat us up, took the cameras away, and took their own pictures. There's so many of them. Uh, but you don't know that looking at that photograph. And there's so many examples out there. One that I love to pick on because it drives me nuts anymore is photographs are being put out there, a lot of them, with heavenly bodies in the photograph. Um, and the one I like to pick on the best was done in the Southern California desert. And in the sky, it's got the Southern Cross. Well, if you know anything about stars, the Southern Cross is not in the northern hemisphere where the California deserts happen to be. It's in the southern hemisphere. So many people now fake, for lack of better terms, or to be completely honest, those heavenly body shots by going to various websites, NASA's and others, getting those free photographs, and with the sky replacement in Photoshop, pop those heavenly bodies into the photographs, not knowing that if you know anything about geography and the stars, a lot of them just don't work. But if you don't, you go, "Wow, how'd you get that amazing shot?" And blah 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 blah. Hey, it's all okay, faked. Which brings up the next thing, which a number of the emails touched on, is right now, you've got, and photographers need to realize that majority of the stuff on the web, which I know is supposed to be all accurate, is truly clickbait. And I'm not talking about the shutter or the mouse click per se. I'm talking about just, trying to suck you in to topics which have nothing to do with reality or perceptions other than just trying to make money off your time with garbage. And that really just irks me. But the latest thing, and you got to remember, this has been going on forever. This is not new. Is this whole thing about photography is dead because AI is taking over. Blah 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 blah. You know, I'm sorry. I guess I'm old. I guess I've been doing this way too long. But a number of people are concerned that that is actually happening. That why should they invest their time and energies, their funds into photography when AI is going to be able to do it? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Let's start with the very first reason because you love it, right? You love to get out with your camera. There's the first reason why you should not bite into this BS about AI because it's not what it seems. Not that I have a crystal ball, but in a way I do. I know what's coming down the road for some of this stuff, and don't get sucked into that. Number two, AI. You might not be aware of it, but it's been around a heck of a long time already. And it's not made photography go away. It is not brand new in the last 2 months. It's been around for a long time, guys. So there's, you got your own personal evidence that it's not going to make photography go away. And number three, and this is really the most important, to the heart of those emails. Who gives up beep beep slash question mark pound sign blah 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 about what other people say photography's going? It's your photography. It's your passion. It's your storytelling. Okay? You've got to understand that. That's the most important measuring stick for every part of your photographic pursuit. Seriously, 100%. You know, you got to remember, and it's hard to sometimes, but it's not what it seems. Another thing that, I love is people, a lot of people have been asking of late. Not sure I'm trying to figure out why. How do you become a Nikon ambassador? And I'm here to tell you, yes, I'm one of the original Nikon ambassadors for Nikon USA, and I feel very honored and very fortunate that that is the case. Nikon support that helps me go out and inspire and teach and mentor more and more and more. And that's what it's all about. That's what the ambassador program is all about. And that's, it's not what it seems. That ambassador program, they're wanting me to work more to help inspire you. I mean, that's what it's all about. But people want to know, how do you become an ambassador? Because there is no application online to become an ambassador. There's no one you can call for an interview to become a Nikon ambassador. So people ask, how do you become a Nikon ambassador? And I got to tell you, I do not have a 1, 2, 3 ABC kind of answer for you. What I can tell you, okay, and this is totally not what it seems. I can share with you what was shared with me back in the 90s by a vice president at Nikon who's no longer there. He's retired. And he said Nikon's looking for three things. It's looking for a good photographer. It's looking for somebody who keeps getting published and someone who teaches. And he left it at that. That was it. And till you really delve into that, does it kind of give you an answer of what gets their attention? Because he didn't say a great photographer, didn't say he'd been published once, didn't say taught a class online here or there. He said a good photographer. And that's really important to understand. He says keeps getting published. That means they understand how that world works in every way, sense, or form, and teaches. Didn't taught, didn't just teach once, and it's a continual process. So it means you're basically continually growing as a photographer. So being a Nikon ambassador, like so many things in photography, it's not what it seems. And that's really important to remember as we go into the new year. Some people are going to be making New Year resolutions. Understand that photography is a peaks and a valley kind of process. It is creative, and at times you can't shut it off. And there's times you cannot turn it on. It's okay. There's times that you're going to miss photographs. That's okay. There are times where you can see things that you're going to go, I could never, ever take that picture. And that's not okay. There isn't anybody that I have ever met in my photographic pursuits of and teaching and helping that could not get the shot. Some people might be more challenged, some people might take longer than others, but everybody, anybody can do it because it's not what it seems. The most important thing is to remember to be true to yourself and you will succeed. And if you think it's going to be roses and perfection, it's not gonna be that way all the time. If you think that, you know, it's the road to the fame and fortune, it ain't that either. It's not supposed to. It's not what it seems. Keep that in mind. I kind of want to end with a quote. I've talked about Rick McIntyre's books quite a bit this year. Rick McIntyre works on the Wolf Project in Yellowstone, biologist, researcher, observer. He's written 4 books. If you read the books, couple things. You better have good bourbon and a box of Kleenex with you, because the one page you could use the bourbon, and the next page you could use the Kleenex. Um, I have a quote that I want to end 2022 with that comes from the second book. It's a 4-book series. I don't know if it's a series, but 4 books. The second book, The Reign of Wolf 21. And it's a real simple thing that I think photographers should keep in mind. Uh, and it comes at the end when he talks about another very charismatic wolf that passed away. And wolves have a very hard life. But Rick says this. He goes, I think wolves love the lives they have been given and accept whatever difficulties come with life without feeling sorry for themselves. I think that's something that photographers should really kind of embrace. You know, you'll meet photographers, it's going to be tough at times. It's just the way it is. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You can do it. If I can do it, we can all do it. It's part of the process of being a creative. So keep that in mind because a lot of things you see and hear, it's not what it seems. I want to thank you guys all for a really marvelous 2022. I look forward to talking with you and writing with you and hearing from you and hopefully shooting with you. And I want to remind you just to make every click your story.